What's going on YouTube? So when Mazda unveiled the new CX-70 earlier this year, there were a variety of reactions.
And now we're finally in Palm Springs, California to check out this all-new model in person.
So, does this new nameplate bring new levels of luxury and dynamics to the segment? Let's go ahead and find out. So let's start off here by talking about the exterior design. Now, of course, I'll go ahead and address the elephant in the room. Yes, this does bear a lot of resemblance to the CX-90, but there are some differences, and I think they're meaningful differences. And you'll notice that, I think, when you first walk up to the vehicle. So first of all, we do have the latest Mazda design language on board. We've got their latest signature grille. It's nice and wide here, a little boxy in terms of its overall look to give this a nice aggressive stance. We do have the smoked chrome that's going to surround it, and we have the black mesh that runs through the middle of it. Now, here's what is different, the big thing. So down here, you'll notice that we've got these grille inserts. These are kind of large accent pieces that are going to be on both sides of the front of the model. And we actually conveniently do have a CX-90 in the background there, so you can take a look at what's different there. A lot bigger as opposed to the little slits you get on the CX-90. And overall, it does seem like it makes a pretty pronounced effect in the overall sporty look of this vehicle, which is what it's trying to give you. Now, let's take a look at the headlights as well. So we do have standard full LED headlights, of course. This is a cool two-part design where we've got our turn signal and a daytime running light that kind of run over through this area integrated into the grille. If you choose Turbo S models, these are also going to have adaptive abilities. Now, similar to the front, as we move around to the rear, you'll notice some subtle changes from the CX-90.
Yeah, but overall, I really like the way this vehicle looks. It does have that sportier flair to something like a CX-90. Now let's break down some of those design elements. Now we do have an exposed wiper right through here, pretty sloped off glass, and then let's check out our taillights and see if all of the taillight elements are LED. So as you can see, we have an LED brake light portion, an LED turn signal indicator with the fading in and out animation, and an LED reverse light. So I like that all of the elements are LED on this CX-70. However, I will point out if you choose a Turbo S, you're going to get a slightly more premium arrangement that includes this piece right here. Now, as we drop down to the lower fascia, this is where you really start to see some different things for CX-70. This is going to be a little bit sportier than the 90. This piece right here is exclusive to the CX-70 to give you that sporty look, although we're still not going to have exposed exhaust outlets. As far as your tow rating is concerned, here with the plug-in hybrid, we're rated to tow 3,500 pounds. If you choose the inline 6 versions, those will be rated at 5,000 pounds.
Now, talking about our wheels, almost every single version is going to come with 21-inch alloy wheels. You do have a few different finishes. This is the contrast finish we have on board. I think these look absolutely excellent. It's definitely a very nice looking design overall. Now, there are some subtle differences between the different trim levels depending on what you choose. For example, the wheel arches, these will be body color if you choose Turbo S trim levels. But if you choose something like the PHEV, which is what we have today, that's going to exclusively get you the black finish on the door handles. We also have the black finish up here on our mirrors, and these are going to be fully loaded on the upper trim level model. So that means you even have premium features such as auto dimming on the driver's side and power folding.
And now let's talk about the side. Now Drew's over there looking at the CX-90 because there's something pretty important that I want to talk to you all about. So not only does the CX-70 actually look similar to the CX-90, it actually is the exact same length, 201.6 inches long. So this is a very, very big mid-size two-row SUV to say the least. Now we're going to see how that translates to interior space a little bit later in this video, but certainly you're going to have a lot of it. Now, in terms of design elements, all of our window surrounds are blacked out. We also have roof rails up top. And then when it comes to your safety systems, Mazda is including all 4 active safety features as standard equipment on the CX-70. Additionally, as you move up the trim structure, you will also get rear auto braking. But guys, there are some exclusive elements on the inside, so let's dive into that. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
All right, let's check out the interior. Here's our Mazda key fob. It's your typical Mazda key fob. You do have a smart entry system as standard equipment. And to get inside the model, just reach behind the handle. That will unlock the door and fold the mirrors out. All right, now go ahead and check out the interior. So first of all, you might be noticing something that's a pretty substantial difference from the CX-90 right from the start, and that is the color itself. So exclusive to the CX-70 is going to be the sporty red interior, and this is an interior color that I really do like. I think it looks fantastic on this SUV. It's kind of a dark red, so it's kind of more of a winey color, a subtler red, and it looks really luxurious, but while also giving you that sporty flair. Now you can also get black, and some of your other trims have the choice between grayish and black as well. And then your top model, last but not least, has an exclusive tan interior. As far as your seats, these are always going to be 8-way power adjusting. And then we do have memory seats on our premium trims as well. But let's go ahead and climb inside. Now, of course, Mazda prides itself in having very premium cabins that can, kind of go toe-to-toe with some of the luxury rivals. And let's check those materials out. So, over here on our door trim, we have a very, very padded armrest covered in leather with a stitching detail. We have red leather running through the center section, a soft touch plastic along the top, and we have a textured aluminum look trim that runs through there. As we go to the upper dash, this is all padded plastic. We have the full leatherette covering in the red color going through there, and more of the aluminum trim through the center section with padding along the outside edges. Everything fits together extremely solidly, as is typical for Mazda products. Let's go ahead and fire it up. Now let's fire it up. Let's get into individual details. So let's take a look at the gauge cluster. First of all, this is the 12.3-inch premium gauge cluster. This will be standard on all but the base CX-70. Because of the trim structure being a little bit elevated compared to the CX-90, you will notice just in general that there's going to be more standard features inside of this model versus the CX-90. Also included with the digital gauge cluster on those same trims is our head-up display. Now as we pull back, like all Mazdas, you have rain sensing wipers. That's standard across the board, and we've got a nice leather wrapped steering wheel. This will even be power adjusting on your upper end models, and you also have steering wheel heating as well. Now let's take a look at interior storage. So we do have the split opening lid here, and inside of this you're going to notice it's loaded down with donuts. That of course is because this is car Confections, and we like to test the volume and see how many donuts fit inside. So the answer for the CX-70 is 7 donuts. That's a decent amount, but not overly large. Some things in the segment will certainly give you more space inside of the center console itself. Now, in front of that, you do have a couple cup holders. You have a small pad here, which is also your wireless phone charging pad, and that is standard on all trims. Now, in terms of our shifter, we have an electronic style shifter. Operation's a little different than some other models, so you bump to the left, and then you go down for drive. When you're in drive, you also have power shifters on the steering wheel you can use. Go up to R for reverse. This is what our 360 camera looks like. This is again an available feature on our upper end trim levels. And as you can see, you do have guidelines, you got the overhead view, and you can also switch between a couple of views as well for that back camera. Then let's go back over there to the left to go into park. You also have an electronic parking brake with brake hold. Now you'll notice this area, of course, we have controls for our infotainment system. We also have our volume knob located right here. So only the base model will come with an 8-speaker sound system. However, everything else is going to come with the advanced Bose premium sound system. And let's go ahead and give that a sample right now. Yeah, so overall sound quality is quite good. Definitely fills up the cabin nicely and has a good amount of pop to it. All right, let's zero in up here with our climate controls next. This is a 3-zone automatic climate system. So adjustment, super simple. Just press the up and down arrows there for your temperature adjustment. You've got your fan speeds. You can also change the rear climate controls located up here, and they also have their own independent climate functions as well. Now also in this region, you'll find your standard 3-stage heated seats. Also, if you have a Premium Plus trim level or any of the Turbo S models, you're going to get seat ventilation as well. And now let's move up here to our main infotainment system. So this is going to come standard with the 12.3-inch display across all of the trim levels. You don't have the smaller option like you do in the CX-90. Also on board with this is Android Auto and Apple CarPlay support. They are going to run wirelessly. So the critical thing here, though, is the fact that this does work as a touchscreen. So you can actually touch this and use this with your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, or you can opt to go back to Mazda's own system. This part is not going to be a touchscreen, and you'll use that control knob down below for things like the integrated navigation system. Now as we move above here, we have the auto dim mirror with home link remotes built in. And another nice feature you'll find on almost every single CX-70 is the panoramic sunroof. If you get the base model, it's going to come with a standard size unit instead, but like I said, all the rest of them will come with a pano sunroof.
But let's dive into the rear area about the CX-70, because certainly this is a very interesting aspect of this vehicle. So let's dive right in. We have official legroom and headroom figures from Mazda. So we're sitting at a little over 39 inches of legroom, a little over 39 inches of headroom. Now those are actually exactly the same figures as the sibling Mazda CX-90, but there are a few things to point out here that is different from the CX-90. So first of all, I do want to point out that you have bench seating as your only seating configuration here in the CX-70. Captain's chairs are not available, and that does also mean that you're not going to have available seat ventilation even on your top-end Turbo S model. Now, other things to point out is that this seat does actually slide forward and back a very good amount. This is perfect if you have like a child seat. You can easily reach out from the front seat and do whatever you need to do. And then as far as other things, we do have vents here in the center. That's going to be standard equipment. We also have 2 USB-C ports, and down below we have our own climate controls. As Drew mentioned earlier, we are going to have a 3-zone setup on all models. We do still retain heated rear seats. I certainly won't be using that here in Palm Springs. It's 98 degrees in the shade. And then if we fold down the center armrest, there are 2 cup holders inside. And let's turn to the door trim. The door trim is going to be nicely done, nice materials all throughout, and we also have rear window sunshades to keep the sun out of our eyes. And then we also have quite a bit of door storage. One thing I also want to point out about the door is that it opens nearly at a 90-degree angle, which I think once again will be a useful element for families. And now let's check out the cargo area, because this is an aspect of the CX-70 that's going to be very different from something like a CX-90. And the reason for that is because the 3rd row has been removed. This is a 2-row midsize SUV. So no more 3rd row offered at all on the CX-70. If you want that, you're going to have to choose the 90. And that does mean that you're only going to have 2 different cargo capacity figures. So behind the 2nd row of seats, it's about 39 cubic feet of space. If you fold those seats down, which you can easily do with these little buttons right here, that's going to give you a maximum of around 75 cubic feet. Now, that is nearly identical to the CX-90. It's about 1/10 of a cubic foot larger, as a matter of fact. Now, this is Car Confections after all, so I want to go ahead and get the cargo length, width, and height figures. And now that we've got those seats folded down, which do fold 60-40 split folding, by the way, the overall cargo length is going to be about 84 inches. That is very, very good for a vehicle in this segment. And the reason for that is because it's a very long vehicle, exterior dimensionally. We also have 48 inches of length behind the 2nd row of seats. And then, as far as cargo opening, about 42 inches wide. Overall cargo height is going to come in at 29 inches. That's not the whole story, though, because if we lift this area up, this is the same as CX-90, but this is not. This is actually where the 3rd row would be occupying some space in the CX-90, and now you have that as available storage here in the CX-70. Also, these buttons to fold the 2nd row, those are going to be exclusive to this model.
So by now you're probably wondering what is under the hood, and you're going to find three choices of powertrain. They're all very premium, and it begins with a 3.3 liter turbocharged inline 6-cylinder engine with a mild hybrid system, making 280 horsepower. Now, even though that's already uncommon for the segment, you also have a high output version, which is just a little bit more powerful, 340 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque with premium fuel. We also have the plug-in hybrid, which is actually what we've been looking at today. That's a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine with a 17.8 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack, and that produces 323 horsepower, but has 26 miles of dedicated electric range.
Now, regardless of which powertrain choice you opt for, you're going to have an 8-speed automatic transmission and standard all-wheel drive with the CX-70. And as far as your fuel economy figures are concerned, it is very impressive regardless of which model as well. 25 miles per gallon combined with both versions of the inline 6-cylinder. And of course, like Drew mentioned earlier, you have quite a bit of all-electric range if you choose this plug-in hybrid model.
Now, of course, at this point in the review, you're thinking, this is a Mazda, let's see how it drives. And we will be delivering you that experience, but not quite yet. In respect to Mazda, as well as our fellow journalists here on this event, there's a driving impressions embargo until Tuesday of next week. This is where we'll be able to share with you everything you need to know about the driving experience. So make sure you stay tuned for that.
And it's time to talk about pricing. This is where this also continues to be a very interesting review because the CX-70 has exactly the same price as the CX-90 in equivalent trim levels. The CX-90 actually has a lower base price because it has that lower end trim level, so that's something worth noting. But really the thing that you need to consider if you're cross-shopping between the two is, do you need that third row or would you rather have the maximum cargo capacity? So we're starting at a price of around $40,445 for the base Turbo Preferred model, and then we range all the way up to the 3.3 Turbo S Premium Plus, which starts at $55,950. Now, if you're looking to buy a CX-70 or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price on your new vehicle. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. But now it's time for us to talk about potential resale value and reliability to make sure you are making a smart purchase. Now, first up, we'll talk about resale value. Now, as an economics graduate myself, Drew and I took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for this Mazda CX-70's potential resale value. We estimate that after 5 years and 60,000 miles, the CX-70 will be worth 59.4% of its original MSRP, and after 10 years, 25.2%. Now, it's worth noting that is one of the best resale value percentages that you can get across any vehicle make. It's actually fourth overall, only behind vehicle brands like Honda, Toyota, and Subaru.
We've also done the same for potential reliability by developing the Combined Reliability Index. That takes into account several trusted studies on reliability and combines them in a way that is very useful. In this metric, Mazda is rated just almost exactly at the industry average for all vehicle makes.
Now, if you'd like to check out all of our data about reliability and resale values, as well as learn about our methodology, make sure to head to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a car is certainly a very big decision, so you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. And guys, that's going to be where we leave off on this in-depth review of the all-new 2025 Mazda CX-70. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, which we hope you did, we would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, not only are you going to get more car reviews like this, you're also going to get access to being a part of our family, and we have a lot of fun on this channel. I'm sure you won't want to miss out. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.